For this video, we're going to do the exercises from your Google Classroom, the questions and answers, and these will most likely be the questions that will be in your test. So how this is going to work is I'm going to read the question, like give one word for the following, and then I'm going to have a pause, and then you think of your answer, and then I say the answer, and you can see if you were right. Okay, so let's start. Atoms. Number 1. Give one word for the following. 1.1. Particles with a positive charge, called protons. 1.2. Particles that are found around the nucleus, electrons. 1.3. Particles without a charge that are found in the nucleus, neutrons. 1.4. Particles responsible for the mass of the atom, protons and neutrons, and together they make nucleons. 1.5. Particles that determine the volume of an atom, electrons. Number 2. Give the following definitions. The definition of proton. A proton is a positive particle found in the nucleus of the atom. Give the definition of atom. An atom is the smallest particle that all matter is made of. 2.3. Definition of electron. An electron is a negative particle found around the nucleus of the atom. Definition of neutron. A neutron is a neutral particle found in the nucleus of an atom. Number 3. Draw a labeled diagram of the boron atom. Now this would be best if you have a paper with you to draw. You can pause the video here until you're done. The answer. Remember to always write what it is you are going to draw. This counts a point. And for your drawing, you get another point. And then here on the side, you have the electrons, which are negatively charged. The protons are in the nucleus, so they're both here in the middle. They are positively charged for protons, both with a P. Neutrons are also in the nucleus, and they are neutral. They're not charged at all. And then the nucleus is the protons and the neutrons together. Number 4. Complete the table to indicate all particles of an atom. Now in the test you will get particle, charge, and where does it occur, and you will probably get proton, neutron, and electron. So a proton, what kind of charge does it have? Positive charge. And where does it occur? In the nucleus. A neutron, what kind of charge does it have? Neutral. And where does it occur? In the nucleus. Electron, what kind of charge does it have? Negative. Where does it occur? Around the nucleus. Number 5. Look at the following sketch of a neutral atom and answer the questions. 5.1. What is the nucleus made up of? Protons and neutrons. So in the middle there is the middle of the nucleus, that's nucleus, and it's made up of protons and neutrons. 5.2. Which particles move in the space around the nucleus? So around the nucleus are electrons. 5.3. How many of the following particles are in the atom? Count the neutrons. 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 neutrons, purple neutrons. 5.3.2. Count the electrons. Electrons on the outside. 1, 2, 3. Count the protons. Ooh, ooh. Protons in the middle are 1, 2, 3, the light gray ones. All right, we move on to exercise 10. Give one word for the following. 1.1. The table in which elements are arranged in a certain way. The periodic table. In the name for a horizontal rows on the periodic table. Periods. 1.3. The name for the vertical columns on the periodic table. Groups. Number 2. What is a compound? A compound is a substance consisting of 2 or more types of atoms that are chemically bonded. So just remember, combination for compound. Combination is of 2 substances that are chemically bonded. Number 3. What keeps the atoms in molecules together? Forces. Number 4. 3 of the gases are found in our atmosphere are nitrogen, carbon dioxide, and methane. 4.1. Draw molecules of nitrogen gas, N2, carbon dioxide, CO2, and methane gas, CH4. Now, you will have to draw pictures for this, so have your pen and paper ready. Again, you can pause the video at this point and until you're done, and then you can check your answers. The answer is N2. So that is nitrogen that has 2 of the same particles. That's why it has a 2 there. So 2 of the same. CO2 has 1 carbon particle and 2 oxygen particles. So C has nothing with it, but O has 2. CH4 has 1 carbon particle and 4 hydrogen particles. So that is why it's 1C and 4H. 4.2. What can you say about the forces between the particles of these gases? They are quite weak. Number 5. This is not really, I don't think this is necessary. But if you want, you can read this on your own. I don't think this will be exam question. Number 8. The following sketches are given. A, B, C, D, E, F, and G. And answer the following questions by writing down the letters of the sketches that applies. Number 8.1. Which sketches represent an element? The answer is A, B, E, and G. So these are particles in their original form or 2 of the same. So like this one, 2 of the same. And these are also in the original form. Which of these sketches represent a diatomic element? Number B and G, because they are 2 of the same. 8.3. Which sketches represent a compound? So B, C, D, F, and G, because these are just singles, so they're not a combination of anything. And the last one, which sketches represent an atom? And that would be A, because there's the nucleus and with the neutrons and the protons, and there's the electrons around it. Exercise number 11. Question number 1. Classify the following as atoms or molecules and then as elements or compounds. Is this picture an atom or a molecule? It's an atom. It's single ones. Is it an element or a compound? Atoms are always elements. Is this picture an atom or a molecule? Molecules, because there are different ones. And is this element a element or a compound? It's a compound because it's a combination of molecules. Is this picture a picture of an atom or a molecule? Molecules, because there's many of them. That's not single. They're connected to something. Is this an element or a compound? It's an element because it's two of the same. Is this a mixture of an atom? What picture is this? Is it an atom or a molecule? Well, it's both actually, because there are atoms there and there's molecules. Is this an element or a compound? Well, it's two different elements because this are elements like we saw here, and this is also an element, so it's two different ones. Is this picture an atom or a molecule? The molecules, all of them, because there's no single ones there. Is this an element or a compound? Well, actually it's both, because these that are the same are elements and these that have two different colors are compounds. CO2, is that a molecule or an atom? It's a molecule because it consists of two different ones. And is it an element or a compound? It's a compound because it's two different things together. Magnesium, Mg. All right. Is this an atom or a molecule? It's an atom. It's a single form. It's on the periodic table. So is this an element or a compound? It's an element because it's on the periodic table. SO2. It's sulfite ion. So is this an atom or a molecule? It's molecules. And is it an element or a compound? It's a compound because it's made up of two different elements. Chloride, I think. Chlorine. Is this an atom or a molecule? It's molecules. Is it an element or a compound? It's a diatomic element because there's two of the same element. Potassium, that's found in bananas. Number K. What is it, an atom or a molecule? It's an atom because it's an element. Oh, is it an element or a compound? It's an element because it's found on the periodic table. Number 2, complete the following diagram. Matter are made up of two different things, namely pure materials and mixtures. Pure materials are two different things, namely compounds and elements. What are the properties of compounds? It consists of different elements that are chemically bonded, and it can be broken down into simpler materials. What are the properties of elements? It cannot be broken down into simpler materials, and it's a one type of atom and found on the periodic table. Mixtures. Particles that do not look the same. Particles that components are not in a specific ratio, and components that retain their properties and components that can be separated physically. Number 3. What is a pure material? A material that cannot be broken down into simpler parts. The particles look the same. Explain what a mixture is. It's two or different materials